In Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, Baphomet, the Prince of Beasts, was a demon lord who ruled over the Endless Maze, an endless labyrinth filled with minotaurs, ogres, and other demonic creatures. Baphomet is the demon lord of minotaurs, and he definitely looks the part, being described as a 12-foot tall humanoid with a bull's head and horns, a bovine tail, and cloven hooves for feet, covered head to toe in deep black fur. He was known to have an eternal feud with Yeenoghu, the demonic patron lord of the Gnolls, who we've examined on this channel before. Yeenoghu and Baphomet once tried to invade a kingdom of elves, but were pushed back. Both demons blamed the other and declared eternal hatred for one another, and their forces became forever embattled. Baphomet as an enemy has an AC of 20, 275 hit points, and a speed of 40 feet. He has a strength of +10, a dex of +2, a constitution of +8, an intellect of +4, a wisdom of +7, and a charisma of +3, stats befitting the Lord of Beasts. He has a dex save of 9, a constitution save of 15, and a wisdom save of 14, which all make saving throws against most spells a breeze. He has a +17 to intimidation and a +14 to perception. He has resistance to cold, fire, and lightning damage, and immunity to poison damage and non-magical weapon damage. He's also immune to the charmed, exhausted, frightened, and poison conditions. Additionally, he has true sight up to 120 feet and a passive perception of 24, which makes sneaking up on him almost completely impossible. All of this gives him an overall challenge rating of 23. Similar to the Minotaurs who call him their patron god, Baphomet has the charge trait in which if he moves at least 10 feet towards a target and then hits them with a gore attack, that gore attack does an additional 3d10 damage, and any target must succeed on a DC 25 strength save or else be thrown backwards by 10 feet and knocked prone. Baphomet was also an innate spellcaster with a spell save of DC 18, and could cast Detect Magic at will. He can cast Dispel Magic, Dominate Beast, Hunter's Mark, Maze, and Wall of Stone 3 times per day, and can cast Teleport once per day. He has the trait Labyrinthine Recall, making him immune to the Maze spell and able to remember every path he has ever traveled. He has 3 legendary resistances which allow him to choose to succeed on failed saves. He also has advantage on magical saving throws, his attacks are all considered magical, and he can choose at the start of his turn to go Reckless, gaining advantage on all attacks but giving players advantage on their attacks against him until his next turn. In combat, Baphomet can do a multi-attack consisting of 1 Heart Cleaver, 1 Bite, and 1 Gore. All of his attacks have a +17 to hit. The Heart Cleaver has a range of 15 feet, dealing 2d10 plus 10 damage, a potential of 12 to 20. The Bite has a range of 10 feet, dealing 2d8 plus 10 damage, a potential of 12 to 26. And the Gore also has a range of 10 feet, dealing 2d6 plus 10 damage, a potential of 12 to 22, or, if paired with the charge trait, an additional 3d10, which increases the damage potential to 15 to 52. Baphomet also has a frightful presence that forces all players within 120 feet that are simply aware of him make a DC 18 Wisdom saving throw. If players fail this, they become frightened of him for 1 minute. They can make the saving throw again at the end of their turns, but they do so with disadvantage if he's within their line of sight. If players succeed on the save at any time, they gain immunity to it for 24 hours. Baphomet can also take 3 legendary actions per round at the end of a player's turn. He can make a single attack with Heart Cleaver for one of these 3 actions, or spend 2 to charge up to 40 feet towards a target and make a gore attack. As a DM, I would only place Baphomet in his realm or some other labyrinth. Like the standard Minotaur, the environment plays an important role. Having a labyrinth in which to fight allows Baphomet to retreat and charge players as they get lost within his maze. To open combat, I would have Baphomet cast Maze on the beefiest player, hopefully sending them away for up to 10 minutes should his concentration hold. This leaves your players down a player, preferably their tank, for the entire fight. In this same round, I would then use 2 legendary actions to charge at the healer of the party at the end of the next player's turn, followed up by a Heart Cleaver attack on any player within 15 feet at the end of the next player's turn. On subsequent turns, I would use the following strategy. Attack the player closest to Baphomet with a Bite attack, and then use his movement to move at least 10 feet towards a different player, stopping within 10 feet from them and using the Gore attack with the charge damage added on. After this, use the Heart Cleaver attack to hit the same player or another player if one is within 15 feet in order to spread out the damage. Owing to legendary actions, Baphomet is incredibly mobile and can use charge once per round to change positions, setting himself up for subsequent attacks. I would have him go Reckless if trying to hit the tank of the party. Due to the frightening presence, many will be striking him with disadvantage already, so the Reckless advantage will be cancelled out. For the non-tanky players, there's little point to using Reckless attacks, as with a +17 to hit, it's unlikely that he'll miss. If concentration on Maze drops for any reason, or if someone succeeds on getting out of the maze, I would start using the bonus action Hunter's Mark instead, targeting the player that Baphomet is going to charge in order to maximize the damage damage against them. From here, the strategy repeats. Owing to his many resistances and immunities, as well as his frightful presence, Baphomet just needs to charge and attack, wearing players down through high damage output. In myth, Baphomet was a devil allegedly worshipped by the Knights Templar in the 1300s, and was eventually incorporated into Western occult traditions. The name itself was first found in the transcripts for the Inquisition of the Knights Templar in 1307, but wasn't popularized until the 1800s when it was associated with the Sabbatic goat image created by Eliphas Levi, which emphasizes the equilibrium of opposites. Part human, part animal, part male and part female, and both karmic good and karmic evil all embodied in one deity. Baphomet as a demon was used to ascribe heresy to the Knights Templar. The inquisitors that prosecuted Templars used it as an argument to suppress and execute members of the group for heresy and blasphemous worship of a non-Christian deity. Many modern scholars believe that the name Baphomet might actually be a French miscommunication of the name Muhammad, as it is now believed that many Knights Templar began incorporating Muslim beliefs into their worship, something that was also seen as blasphemous by the Inquisition. Over the ages, Baphomet became warped from a pagan god or Eastern deity into one of the many demons of the armies of hell, and became directly associated with the witch's Sabbath, merging imagery from the tarot devil with the depiction of Baphomet by Levi. All of this led to the imagery being associated primarily with devil worship in covens and witchcraft in general. In modern media, the statue and imagery of Baphomet is often used to signify a patron demon of witches, or as a substitute for the devil or Lucifer in general, mixing different demons and devils together with pagan influence to fall under the single image of Baphomet. In comparing the D&D demon to the original concepts of Baphomet, we find both a ton of comparisons and also none whatsoever. If we take the popularized image of Baphomet and its association with witchcraft, beasts, and pagan rituals, we find that the Baphomet in D&D is much the same, a Minotaur demon lord of beasts. However, if modern scholars are right and Baphomet was a francophone mistranslation of the Prophet Muhammad's name, then the D&D monster is solely based on the image by Eliphas Levi, with none of the connotations of witchcraft later added onto the legend. If you enjoyed that video, please leave a like and comment below, and consider subscribing to the channel. You can also join the Patreon for $1 a month, link in the description below, to access videos days before they're posted here, as well as other exclusive stuff like short stories, videos, and more. For all of my other content, you can find me on Twitch at Moglaroo, YouTube and TikTok at Moglaroo Streams, or my website, mwjgilmore.com.